I don't think many people expected what we saw from Boise State last year. A 10-4 season after a year in which we were very disappointed 2 years ago was exactly what this program needed. And now to get back at the top of group of five, even if a new group of five and a new era of what that looks like, Boise State is looking to get back on track, get back to what their identity used to be. And I really like what their chances are for winning the Mountain West. We'll talk about the 10 players that will make the biggest impact on this team. And we'll start with the defense. Rodney Robinson comes back after being an undersized safety that found ways to be extremely productive and extremely impactful for this team. 5'8", 185 pounds, had 3 interceptions last year. Boise State's defense is going to lose quite a bit of talent on the defensive side of the ball, but they still have some players coming back that will make things a lot easier for everybody else that's going to be new. So that's something to keep an eye on. The front seven is probably where you lose most of that production that you maybe are concerned about. But DEMITRI Washington is also back, 6'3", 271 pounds. The defensive end has the potential to have a breakout year. I really like what he could do. And he learned some tricks of the trade from some of those veteran players that depart. So if you can put that all together with his talent, you're looking at a guy that's in store for a big year. The offense could also take a step forward, and the passing attack will be one of those groups that could benefit the most from that step forward or make the biggest impact. Riley Smith comes in at tight end after a season in which he had 214 yards and 1 touchdown. Not the biggest production, but I really like what he could do. He's a big target at 6'5", 245 pounds. So someone else that could step up is Riley Smith, could make a big impact. And the passing attack is really where Boise State could make a huge impact and could take a step further to make them an even more terrifying team. Losing Latrell Caples was a huge blow, as we saw in the last couple of weeks. Losing him is going to hurt, but you still have plenty of talent coming back, and you have some young guys that could take a step forward as well. Billy Bowens comes back for his senior season after a 462-yard performance in 2022. He also added 4 touchdowns. I think that Boise State's passing attack has the potential to be really good. They have the ability, they have the talent to take their game to another level. It's just a matter of finding guys downfield and finding ways to get them open. The offense shouldn't have too many concerns with the talent level they have coming back. This is a group that finished 111th in passing yards last year. So there's obviously something they can get better at, and throwing the football will be that. They have a quarterback that's a little bit more experience now. So that'll be another factor into this offense. And the offensive line will also play a factor in that. CADE Beresford comes back, and he had a solid year for Boise State. He's an all-conference type talent, someone who I think has a bigger impact than people realize. This is a group that finished 14th last year in sacks allowed. So that's a really good group coming that they had last year. And now you have the ability to replicate or build upon that success. So keep an eye on that. That's something that will, again, have a major impact on what this team can do. Another player that could have an impact on this offense is STEFAN COBBS. Like I said, losing Latrell Caples, big blow for this offense, but it allows other guys to step up and gives them opportunities to show what they can do. STEFAN COBBS is one of those players. We saw at times how explosive he could be. The consistency just wasn't there for various different reasons. Not all of it was on him. Some of it has to do with just the passing attack as a whole, quarterback position, all that kind of stuff. So the passing attack will determine how good this offense can be. It'll also open things up for the rushing attack if they're able to take a step forward. So a guy like STEFAN COBBS could play a big impact on this defense or offense, and you could see the defense benefit from that as well. And this is a defense that was pretty solid last year. You saw a group that finished top 10 in some categories. So this is a defense that will be very appreciative if this offense can take a step forward. The rushing attack appears to be in good hands. This is a group that finished 29th last year, and ASHTON JEANTY could be an instant success in 2023 if he's given more opportunities. That's going to be tough with a guy like George HOLANI coming back, but JEANTY is one of those guys who is the future of this rushing attack. For 821 yards and 7 touchdowns as a backup last year as a freshman, and you saw in the spring game what he could do. The fan base really likes him. The fan base really likes what he can do, and I think the future is bright with him and Taylor Green coming back in the backfield. I think next year is a group that will be really exciting, a rushing attack that has the potential to be extremely explosive once again. And we'll see that in 2023 as well. The linebacking position is really set. I think that DJ SCHRAMM coming back was a huge return for them. 107 tackles, 11 and a half tackles for loss. He is someone who brings good power to the linebacker position. And with some of the losses they sustained up front, a guy like him coming back is really huge to provide some stability, to provide some leadership, and to be able to get this team back on track and back to where they were in terms of being a disruptive group, in terms of being a really good defense to be able to help this offense and keep things going and keep the momentum going and put Boise State back on the map in terms of the group of five and get them back to the top of the Mountain West. The schedule will not be easy. I think that's the biggest thing. You'd start the year at Washington. That is going to be an extremely tough game. It's probably one that Boise State loses, to be honest, but I don't count them out ever. Then you host UCF. That's another tough game. And then hosting North Dakota shouldn't be a problem. At San Diego State and at Memphis will be challenging. I think that San Diego State's not as good as they used to be, but Memphis is going to be really good. Memphis is going to be a team that I think will give them a lot of trouble, but we will see if this team somehow finds a way to be 4-1, or maybe more improbable is somehow 5-0. I would not want to mess with this team at any point in the season. Boise State has the potential to be a dangerous team, a team that could be a nightmare to face for anybody, and they have Mountain West Championship aspirations for a reason. We talked about George HOLANI before, and it's tough not to put him this high. I think JEANTY has the higher ceiling, but George HOLANI has been doing this for so long that you have to give respect for what he's done. Over 2,800 yards and 19 touchdowns in his career. If he can stay healthy, he is a solid producer for this team. Over 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns last year. And it's easy to see why he's one of the better running backs in college football. And it's easy to see why everybody's excited about this rushing attack and what it can do in 2023. So it's just a matter, again, of staying healthy, keeping him on the field. But if not, you have a guy like JEANTY who's waiting in the backfield, waiting in the wings to be able to take a step forward and be that starter. Everybody has their eyes on TAYLEN Green. What can he do as a passer to take this team to new heights? What can he do as a passer to take the passing attack to another level? We saw him take over Hank Bachmeier last year, and we saw the potential in his running, 588 yards. He averaged 7.3 yards per carry, and he has a good frame to be one of those players that maybe if he can take a step forward as a passer, maybe we start talking about him in terms of NFL talent. Maybe we see his draft stock go up. 6'6", 223 pounds. So the potential is there. All the tools are there. It's just a matter of taking that step forward in terms of consistency, in terms of being a big time playmaker for a team that has lofty aspirations, expectations, and goals in 2023. And it's easy to see why they could meet them. I really like what Boise State can do. I really like their potential. And I really like the fact that they have so much talent returning that it would almost be difficult to see them not succeed and not be at the top of the Mountain West. So that's something to build on. Indianapolis has done a great job of getting this talent level to increase, getting this team to play consistently and finding ways to be disruptive on both sides of the football, specifically defense. And now he has this quarterback of the future. He has this quarterback that if he takes a step forward and Boise State and their wide receivers respond, then you're looking at a team that is very dangerous, especially in week one. Keep an eye on that and keep an eye on what happens after that, because if they win that game, you're not going to want to see Boise State at any point this year.